Nintendo's 2020 stands in the name of Animal Crossing, Mario of the Paper Kind, and Mario's 35th anniversary. New Pokemon side games, DLCs and expansions, and remasters and remakes, plus third-party ports and new indie releases. Quite exciting, but not the most impressive lineup in Nintendo Switch mid-gen, as for the first time in the Nintendo Switch's 3 years on the market, there are, after Animal Crossing New Horizons, no new mainline games from any of Nintendo's biggest franchises coming out this year. And you know what? This was probably Nintendo's plan from the very beginning of the year, and was not based on the ever-changing worldwide situation this year, though that did contribute to a new free Nintendo game which oozes with charm. So has Nintendo given up on 2020? Both yes and no. We still think this year will be good for Nintendo thanks to Animal Crossing, only not as great as it was in 2017, 2018 and 2019, especially for us gamers. Since we're still getting a new Pokemon Snap, the first one since Nintendo 64, and Pokemon Unite, which is much more divisive than uniting. Plus, no doubt, we will have a holiday title, or at least we hope so. But first, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the Commonwealth Realm for more Nintendo Switch videos, and press that shiny notification bell and again for all notifications. Let's face it, for a 6 to 7 year long console cycle, you need 1 or 2 slower years to build up and strike ruthlessly back the year after. That is exactly what Nintendo is currently doing for 2021, and the outsourcing of presentations to the Pokemon Company and Sakurai Sora Limited is a clear indication that Nintendo Corporate is hard at work cooking up the ultimate recipe, the Nintendo Switch year that could surpass 2017. Until recently, we thought this was impossible. Since, let's remember, 2017 was the biggest Nintendo year ever, with a lineup unrivaled in the company's history, and the biggest lineup of first-year exclusives ever, which included, with the launch of the Nintendo Switch on March 3rd, 1-2 Switch and Zelda Breath of the Wild, it was then followed up with the Switch exclusives Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on April 28, ARMS on June 17, Splatoon 2 on July 21st, Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle on August 29th, Pokken Tournament DX on September 22nd, Fire Emblem Warriors on September 27th, Super Mario Odyssey on October 27th, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on December 1st. All those games came out in the span of less than 10 months. Absolute insanity. Then how, and more precisely why, would Nintendo unleash another similar tidal wave of games in 2021? Simple. The first-party development teams are hard at work with the next mainline installments of several big Nintendo franchises. We haven't heard anything from Ubisoft after the collapse in 2017 and 2018, and the hardware team with Koizumi in charge has got an entire 1.5 years to develop and launch a new Nintendo Switch model, as the Nintendo Switch president Shuntaro Furukawa announced that there will be no new Nintendo Switch models throughout 2020. Naturally, new hardware demands a solid lineup that is catered for it, and the same goes for later revisions. First the original product, then the handheld Focus Lite, and the only thing remaining, especially with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X on the way, is a top, or if you prefer, Pro model. In 2017 and 2019, Nintendo more than delivered to customize the Joy-Con and handheld-only experiences. But what lineup of games will best complement the strongest Switch? Naturally, the most ambitious titles. You see, Nintendo's marketing strategy for the entire Switch generation appears to be divided up in well-planned stages. The initial started with the launch of the Nintendo Switch and the dual Wii U Switch release of Breath of the Wild, and concluded with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It was then followed up by the handheld focus stage that we are in right now, but which started with the launch of the Nintendo Switch Lite and Link's Awakening, and reached its peak with Pokemon Sword and Shield and Animal Crossing New Horizons. Most likely we will continue in this stage until the end of 2020, as it will not conclude until we reach the next hardware revision, the stage that we will name the Power Stage. Initiated likely with a top model Switch in 2021, it will mark for Nintendo's final big Nintendo Switch push and offensive. In total, it will last 2 to 3 years from 2021 to 2023 or 2024, and is aimed to hold the Switch relevant until its successor is revealed and shortly after launched. The overall goal of this last portion of the Switch will be to push Nintendo's most graphic-intensive and open-world IPs, even further than what was possible with the base model back in 2017. This stage will likely be initiated with the only game that we have actual footage of, namely the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and begin to fade sometime after the launch of Metroid Prime 4 in 2022. In other words, Nintendo couldn't do much about 2020. Most likely, they already knew back in 2017 that this would be the year that Sony and Microsoft would launch the next-gen systems. Hence, they made a decision to hold back this year, as wasting precious resources before the new battle for the consumer would have been wasteful, especially when the new PlayStation and Xbox are certain to overshadow any Nintendo effort in the holiday season this year. Well, with one major exception: a potential base model Nintendo Switch price cut or drop from $299 to $249 bring the Nintendo Switch price to around half of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. It may also very well be the first step to launching their own top model system for around $350 in 2021 and unleash with it a lineup that could ruin or at least weaken the crucial upcoming year for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. So how do we reach the goal of this offensive? Simple. Use Nintendo Switch 2017 as our guideline, a lineup that is almost certain to bring the Nintendo Switch beyond the 100+ million units required to be sold to surpass the total Wii sales. Well, at least before the Switch is replaced by Nintendo's next console in 2023 or 2024. It is weird to think about that, but to calm everyone down, let's repeat the obvious. We still have a few years left with the Nintendo Switch, and likely the top model Nintendo Switch. So what games are needed to make 2021 absolutely incredible for the toaster and infuriating for the router and the fridge? Obviously, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel, a masterpiece that no PlayStation or Xbox exclusive can match, even though Horizon Forbidden West is definitely trying. Breath of the Wild sequel will no doubt deliver a grand adventure that is likely to address the few but at the same time significant shortcomings found in the 2017 original, but also aim to sell more than 10 million copies. The reason for this is simple, as Breath of the Wild had by March 31st, 2020 sold more than 17.4 million copies on the Nintendo Switch alone. These numbers alone would easily give a revised top model Nintendo Switch the perfect kickstart, or if one of Nintendo Switch's best system sellers launching the same day, it might as well trigger a double, or if you prefer times 2 effect. For all of us who have been sitting on the fence to buy a second Nintendo Switch and a second Zelda Breath of the Wild game, while those who have been waiting to buy a Nintendo Switch up to now will have a reason to get the final most powerful version of the Switch, and with it Breath of the Wild and its sequel, thus boosting the sales of both. Now, we all know that one game alone will not cut it, as what decides the success of a console is usually its price and lineup of games. With a price tag of $350, the Switch Pro would still be at least $150 cheaper than Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. Plus, it will have plenty more games to play with, even more to come besides Zelda, like Super Mario Odyssey 2 or another new open 3D Mario game. Then why would this game come out in 2021? Because it will be the 25th anniversary of Super Mario 64 and the Nintendo 64. It will also be 4 years since Super Mario Odyssey came out on the Nintendo Switch, so it's time to both celebrate and head out for another Odyssey. We're not really sure what else besides Isle Delfino that will be added, but no doubt Super Mario Odyssey 2 will, much like Breath of the Wild sequel, be another massive system seller backed by the popularity of the 2017 original. A popularity that has reached sales levels equal to Breath of the Wild's 17.4 million copies sold since the launch in 2017. Again, if Super Mario Odyssey 2 becomes the sequel to Super Mario Odyssey, it is likely that it will trigger a similar effect to Breath of the Wild sequel, the dual effect. Another Switch for existing owners, new Switch Pro for new Switch owners, a second Super Mario Odyssey for existing Switch owners, and Super Mario Odyssey 1 and 2 for new Nintendo Switch owners. By now, you probably see where this is heading, and that the marketing team at Nintendo are true geniuses. They really know how to increase sales from all of their consumers. But this doesn't limit itself to 3D Zelda and 3D Mario. Naturally, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate will be the only Super Smash Bros. Installment on the Nintendo Switch, and creator Masahiro Sakurai has dedicated the next 2 years to finishing Fighter Pass 2 featuring ARMS Min Min and so on, which games could bring 2021 closer to 2017 levels for the Nintendo Switch. Another 10 million plus seller that will follow the exact same pattern as Breath of the Wild 2 and the potential Super Mario Odyssey 2, which is Pokemon Let's Go Johto. At first expected to be shown during the June 24th Pokemon Presents, it now seems more likely that this title if it exists, unlike Sword and Shield DLC 2 The Crown Tundra and possibly new Pokemon Snap and Pokemon Unite, will not come out until 2021, which is good as Game Freak and the Pokemon Company's other partners are too busy to launch a new side mainline Pokemon Let's Go title this year. Alternatively, it could be the long-awaited remake of the Gen 4 Pokemon titles, though Let's Go seems to be more likely, as the dual strategy could apply to this one as well: Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee and Pokemon Let's Go Johto. Okay, so far in 2021 we have the sequels to Breath of the Wild, a likely sequel to Super Mario Odyssey, and either Pokemon Let's Go or Gen 4 Remix. That is a total of 3 of Nintendo's best-selling titles right there. We will soon get back to another potential one. But first, let's go over some potential new titles and franchises that have not seen new installments since 2017. Also, let's keep in mind that we are talking about IPs with games that sell more than 1 million copies. In this category we find Pikmin, ARMS, and most of all Splatoon. Pikmin has been waiting for a new installment since 2013. ARMS is getting another push with Min Min in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, as Splatoon news have calmed down severely. All of this could point to new installments being in development and launching either this year or next year. Since 2020 is, well, 2020, we assume that it is unlikely that all 3 will come out this year, and at least 2 out of the 3 will be revealed and launched sometime in 2021. ARMS seems to be the most likely candidate for 2020, as the game is built for the Joy-Cons, which might not even be the main controller of a Nintendo Switch Pro. So that could mean that we could see Pikmin 4 and or Splatoon 3 as part of Nintendo's lineup in 2021. Then we have Mario Party. Yes, Super Mario Party came out in 2018, but this franchise is well known for having multiple installments across one console generation. Plus, with sales above 10 million copies in the span of less than 2 years, you can bet that a new Mario Party will hit the Nintendo Switch sometime around 2021 or 2022. Still, we're not done yet, and already now we're close to the unbeatable 2017. So what does the Nintendo Switch launch year still have over the possible Nintendo Switch Pro launch year? For one, a big Monolith Soft adventure, though this is likely to be met by 2021, as this year marks the 4-year anniversary of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Plenty of time to realize the concepts for a new open world IP that Monolith published several years ago. The first brand new Monolith Soft game since 2017 would be great and all. But sadly, their games, much like Bayonetta, struggle to sell more than 1 million copies. Speaking of Bayonetta, more and more hints to Bayonetta 3 coming out in 2021 rather than 2020. Aha, but even with Bayonetta 3, we still don't have a new Nintendo Switch exclusive from Ubisoft, as 2017 had Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Yes, but with the solid sales and even Game Award won by the original, who's to say that Ubisoft, with the acceptance from Nintendo, is not already developing a sequel for exactly 2021? Then you have Shin Megami Tensei 5, which we should expect next year, 4 years after its initial reveal during the Nintendo Switch presentation in 2017. It has also been a while since the last Warriors game for a Nintendo franchise, so it could also come to the Nintendo Switch next year. Who is to say, maybe a Mario Warriors title? That would be amazing and absolutely hilarious. Joking aside, we still have one big ace in 2017's favor over 2021, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This game is by far Nintendo's most successful, with over 25 million copies sold, and that as a deluxe Wii U port with added content. Mario Kart is Nintendo's biggest seller, and to be fair, it would be tragic to see the Nintendo Switch with its massive success not getting a brand new installment of Mario Kart until it is replaced by a successor. So is that it? Does 2017 win with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, even if the long list of potential sequels and new IPs that we have listed does not come into fruition? Not necessarily, as Nintendo could think. If we're not replacing the most successful Nintendo generation of home consoles until holiday 2024, then why not deliver a Mario Kart Switch in 2021? It is entirely possible, though less and less likely with the never-ending GTA 5-like success of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. No matter, with the existing Nintendo Switch has games, and lots of new ones from the biggest IPs to come in this year and 2021, then Nintendo and the Switch are likely to destroy the second year of the next-gen systems. The lineup of exclusives that we have just listed will be PS5's and Xbox Series X greatest nightmare, in both their first year and beginning of their second year on the market, especially with Metroid Prime 4 also joining in, probably in 2022. But what do you think? Could Nintendo's potential lineup of exclusives in 2021 surpass 2017? Sound off in the comment section down below. And be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already subscribed to the Commonwealth Realm, then subscribe and press that shiny notification bell, and again for all notifications to not miss any of our upcoming videos. That's all for now. but consider joining our patrons on patreon.com/commonrealm, press the join button here on YouTube to become a member, or at least share this video and enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.